Best Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tag segment, so let's bring in Andy Swan, the co-founder at LikeFolio. Welcome back, Andy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so we're talking Celsius. I mentioned before the break, I think it tastes like Kool-Aid, but everybody in our office seems to be addicted to this stuff now. And we've had CEO on a couple times. He's always pretty upbeat, and the earnings blew it out of the water. Do you guys have the data that kind of supports this move that we've seen in the stock?
Yeah, I can see why he's upbeat, and yes, we have the data to support the move. This is a company that we've been bullish on since it was in the single digits. It's a 1,900% gain over 2 or 3 years, so I can definitely understand why the CEO is feeling good every time he comes on the show, and I think the data from LikeFolio suggests that he should still be feeling good. I think consumers are still moving towards this brand, still moving away from Rockstar, away from Monster. You know, Celsius did a fantastic job of identifying a growing market in the sports and energy drink business, a vastly growing market very quickly, and Celsius really differentiated itself from competitors who are all kind of going after that gamer that wants to stay up till 3 a.m. or the partier that wants to stay up until 2 a.m. partying with the big caffeine hits, whereas Celsius really defined, created, and expanded the niche of really being a company that's about health, wellness, and really going after those health-focused consumers that wanted an energy boost, but not in the same way that others were providing. And so I think they found the niche. They've done a very, very good job of getting distribution through a partnership with PepsiCo that put them really big on the map. And from a LikeFolio data perspective, you can see the chart right there. There's only one player that's getting more mentions than they were a year ago, and that's Celsius. And everybody else's mentions are down. And that's not because the energy drink market is slowing. It's because it's growing, but Celsius is growing much, much faster than the others and stealing market share by the day. So this is a company we've been bullish on for a long time, and we remain bullish on from here.
Yeah, Andy, this is a really good story. And oh, by the way, the 5-year return on the stock up 4,100%.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that's more important. If you look on Amazon in terms of energy drinks, Monster 20.8%, Celsius 18.6% of the market share. So they're basically within a rounding error of pulling even with Monster.
Yeah.
You're right. I think once they got their distribution through PepsiCo, I mean, this company, not only the stock, the company is actually really off to the races, Andy. This is a really good story.
Yeah, it's a great company, and it's one of those companies that I like to look back on as for a lesson for investors, because one of the things that kind of was bothering me a few years ago when we were about to put out a really bullish note on this was that, like you mentioned, the stock was already up really big going into that. It had doubled over the last couple of years, but there was still a lot of runway to go. And so I think when you're talking about small companies in big markets that have their own niche that consumers love, there can often be a lot more upside than just a double. As fantastic as that sounds, there could be a lot of runway to go from there. And so I think sometimes as investors, we get a little too quick to take profits on our winners, or a little too quick to dismiss a stock because it's already doubled in the last couple of years. If it's small enough and in a big enough niche with the right consumer base, it could run for a really long time.
Andy's talking right into my soul there. You just exposed me on live TV. That is every trader's nightmare, getting out too early. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was.
I just had a shivering moment.
Yeah, that's from growing up on the trading floor. Yeah. I think too much of that. But Andy, you guys have been on every few months talking about this stock, and I think people that have watched probably would thank you at this point. But when you look at the stock, the way that it's moved up and, valuations growing, maybe their numbers support it or not. Happiness levels, are they there? And if they reported earnings again, would you guys still be bullish on this name?
Yeah, we've got happiness just barely above Monster. I think that's starting to just kind of even out a little bit. I think things are starting to even out a little bit, and the massive, very fast growth portion of this is probably somewhat played out because, like we said, this was a company that was nascent. I mean, no one even knew what it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was all Monster and Rockstar, and so they've flattened that gap. They've eliminated that gap almost, and so I think this is a company that's now in a spot to be a growth play, a really nice growth company. They execute really well. I think they continue to grow, but the speed just can't be there because the market just can't grow that fast. And so I think when we look at this from here, we think this is a company I want to own on dips. I think eventually it gets a significant pullback as Wall Street has to recalibrate some growth expectations. But from a core fundamentals of the business, this is a company whose executive team is awesome. They execute like crazy. They're in a growing market. And so this is one I think from here you put on your radar and you say, if this gets a significant pullback, this is still a great company to own long term.
Yeah, I like that angle. Maybe supporting cash secured puts if people wanted to wait. Yeah. Something on the downside if that's the way the angle that you have. And I think that partnership with Pepsi that Kevin mentioned earlier, that was just game changer for them because they're in every Pepsi market at this point. All right, great stuff, great data as always, Andy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that's Andy Spahn, co-founder at LikeFolio, breaking down the data for us. A couple things I wanted to mention here, Kev, before you get into your example trade. 76 million shares outstanding only, small share float.
Yes, not the smallest, but still very small.
Yeah,